Hey, what's going on, everybody? Nori Kocharian here, and welcome to the podcast Perform at Your Peak, where we dive into the mindset, athlete's mentality, and have some unique stories that can engage with you, and you also can take some beautiful knowledge that you can use and transform your mentality to a pro level. Today with me is a very unique basketball player who's currently in Sokól Lańcut, the team I'm also a part of, and it's a great pleasure to have you on my show. Terrell Gomez, welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. I appreciate being here.
Well, today we're going to have a bit of a discussion slightly different than on a daily basis where we talk a lot of, during the basketball game, it's all about tactics.
Yeah.
And you know yourself, everything is pretty much done during the practice. When you perform, it's really, to push your physicality through your mentality. What's your stance in that?
Yeah, man. I come to practice every day. I practice hard. Just trying to be sharp as I can. Just trying to be perfect, knowing I'm not going to ever be perfect. That's the tough part. But, once you get your body in shape from that point, it's just about the whole mental aspect of things. And once you get that down, so I think it's more mental than physical. But you got to first get yourself physically ready, and then once you get yourself in shape, and you got to be mentally ready.
Well, I had a great pleasure to, observe quite a few practices with yourself, and then obviously do like a bit of a rebounds with you, and you have a really nice routine to follow.
Yeah.
And then there was a thing when I asked you about, when you have free throws, and I think you count 10, you do like 1, 2, one after the other one.
Yeah.
And then the last two are like sort of like a, let's just say special.
Yeah.
And you give me the sort of the information why this happens. Can you just share this as well in the show?
Oh yeah, I make 15 free throws in a row every day to lead the gym. The first 13, I kind of just shoot rapid fire, just no dribbles, just kind of like just shooting them fast. The last two, I kind of really do my game routine where I just slow my mind down. You got 10 seconds to shoot each free throw in the game. So I just take my time on the last two, and then I really shoot those ones at game speed after already shooting fast just to slow myself down. And that's kind of what I do to kind of get my routine going.
I love that because we're quite used to rushing through the day, and as you said, you're early in the practice because I've seen that many times. You're always ready. You're performing to the very last moment, and you're still staying up for a bit more. And it's different during the game because as the game goes, you're still in that speed mode. But it's so important to focus. So would you say that slowing down allows you to focus a bit better than with the whole the time frame and speed as it goes through the game?
Yeah, most definitely. Like I said, those last two free throws I shoot to lead the gym. It's kind of just to be at peace. You know what I'm saying? Those are my last two shots I'm making. So I came in warming up. You know how you shoot close when you warm up. Yeah. So then my last two shots in the gym is pretty much going to be just being calm, cool, and collective. So, because, usually when you get fouled, your arm might be ringing from a guy that fouled you pretty hard. Your mind's everywhere. So I just kind of just use those last two to just slow myself down, and that's what I usually do. So it works for me. It's
a great routine because, as you said, it can be after foul, and then you're trying to pick yourself up, and you're going through different emotions and different thought process as well. And in some stage you're a bit angry, and some stage you're sort of excited that you're going to have a chance to score and help the team. And seeing you're really into the team, like you're encouraging everybody. You're that sort of big energy ball, like running around. So mindset. Yeah. You started early your career, and from my research, it's great career you had so far.
Yeah.
So what was your mentality at the early stages?
Well, it depends on how far we go back.
So let's just go to the first moment when you decided that you want to be a basketball player.
So when I wanted to be a basketball player, it's kind of like in my blood. My mom played. I got an older brother that played. I got an older cousin that played kind of, recreationally. So it kind of was just in me. I grew up just seeing basketball on the TV. I've been playing ever since I was like 3. So I just always been in a gym somewhere, whether I was following my brother around. My mom always, she even let me play anything else. So basketball was just always that thing. So I was just playing. When I was little, I had a bad attitude. I used to whine and cry a lot. Like, it's different from what you see now. Like, I used to always have something to say. But then 7th grade, I started to get like kind of serious. That's kind of when I met this one guy. He noticed I was different. So my mom, she basically used the gym as kind of like a place for me to just be like in like daycare kind of. Like, so she would drop me, basically she would pick me up from school, or I can even just go to the gym by myself. I would either go to this park called Rogers or Darby or St. Andrews. And I would just go there, and I would just be there until she get off work. And that kind of was just my, I kind of just stayed in the gym. So what I would do was I would go to the gym, do my homework, make sure my homework is done. And then I would just basically, put all my stuff up, fold my clothes up, put it on the side. And this one guy I met, he saw how disciplined I was by myself. And because I was serious, his name Lorian Watkins. And then ever since then, he was just training the kid on the other side. He told me to come join. You
still in touch with him?
Yeah, still to this day. And then,
so shout out to him.
Yeah, so then I joined, and I was always able to shoot the ball. But when I started training with him, I started to become kind of elite shooter. So I would say ever since 7th grade, that's when I kind of made a jump. And then I just continued on. I got to high school. I wanted to play, they have freshman, sophomore, junior varsity, and then you got varsity. I wanted to play varsity because my brother played varsity his freshman year, but I didn't. The team was too good. We had 2 really good guards that year. I wasn't ready. Even if I was a bit ready, I wouldn't have played much. I still think I could have got a spot on the team, but I played junior varsity, which was good for me because I got to play a whole lot. And then the head coach of the varsity team would come sit on the side and just watch me play and coach me from the side. So it was a good thing. And then from there, I just got better and better and better, and just slowly everything kind of just started to just go for me, So
obviously born in Inglewood.
Mm-hmm.
Cali. So who was the first inspiration inside of NBA or basketball world? I know you mentioned your brother, your mother as well,
mm-hmm.
and some other people who notice you, but did you have any role model that you wanted to go, I want to be like him?
So in today's time, a lot of kids look up to like a Melo Ball, right? Mm-hmm. Kids love him. My Melo Ball growing up was Brandon Jennings.
Okay.
So the way kids love like Ant Edwards today, Melo Ball, those guys who kind of got that stardom about them, that's how I was with this guy named Brandon Jennings. He was from LA, and I just thought he was so good. Like when I was like 10 years old, it was the first time I ever saw him play. And then from that point, it was just like wow. Like I've never seen nothing like it, So, everybody kind of got their guy that they saw at a young age, I feel like. And then when they saw that person, it kind of changed their life. So when I saw this guy one day, goes back to my brother. He was at a camp, and they had this all-star game. And this guy shows up, but he didn't play none of the games throughout the camp. He just shows up for the all-star game. And I'm like, why is this guy in the all-star game if he ain't, And then I seen why he was in the all-star game without even being at the camp. But it was one of the greatest things I ever seen. So that kind of like changed me. So then this is when YouTube first kind of start like being that thing where it was kind of organic to where the best players were on YouTube, and I used to just go look at his highlights and stuff like that. I don't think I ever really played like him, but I just liked the way he played. So.
Wow, amazing. Because as you said, we all have some kind of a role model or some kind of inspiration to look up to. Mm-hmm. And it's great to take some kind of bits and pieces, and I'm pretty sure you will agree, not only the physicality, but also that mentality they have to implement. You know, as you said, I maybe never played like him.
Yeah.
But parts of the mentality can be there, you know, going after and chasing your dream. You know, you have a goal, you're going after the goal, which might be the reason. Well, let me go back to what you said earlier on about, you know, not being the best kid when you were younger.
Yeah.
But you went from angle to angle.
Yeah.
You know, for me, without being cheesy about it, I can easily say from any athlete I've met in my whole career, you know, as an athlete myself or as a coach, you're one of just a few that I can say Terrell equals discipline.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
So let me just touch to the self-discipline, because it's not just a discipline that you have, because it's easy to get, you know, the information from coach and then go, yes, sir, and go and do it. But that internal self-discipline that drives you forward. So would you say having that goal to be a better person, but also being inspired by so many different situations or people around yourself, allowed you to build the character you have now, that you're strong, you're precise what you want to achieve?
Yeah, I think definitely. I took things from certain people in my life that I've met who had an impact on me. But honestly, my discipline just comes from me knowing how small opportunity is from where I'm from. So, for example, my parents, they migrated here from Trinidad, and around that time, they probably came here with probably no more than $1,000. And in order to you know, in order to be able to survive, you know, in Los Angeles, even though the economy was better back then, everything they did had to be sharp, and, you know, everything had to be, you know. So when I got to a certain age, I realized that if they never would have left Trinidad, I could have been like, I mean, this isn't a bad thing, but I could have been like a welder or something, or working in like some type of refinery or something out there, have a completely different accent. So, you know, I see that opportunity is very limited. And honestly, being like a 5'8" basketball player, the truth is that I'm replaceable.
There was a moment where your voice went a bit sort of down and you said, I could have been, you know, missing that. Clearly, I cannot imagine not having you today on the show and not being a part of the same team.
Yeah.
So I don't want to even picture that.
Yeah.
But through what you said, I could hear a lot of gratitude, appreciation, you know, for both their decision and how you show the appreciation by sort of following their journey as well, if that makes sense, that they were unstoppable. They knew they have to do something extra every day to help you and push you further and things like this. And I think that's what you do every day. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, every day. I don't take not a day for granted. Even right now, things really aren't going the way I want it to go, but I just still get up and try. But every day I just try to do something, you know, get something done. So.
But it's one of those things, it's like one of those values, that appreciation, that gratitude, that, you know, these days a lot of people lose or miss in their lives. And as you said, you don't have to have everything spot on, you know, everything in a great shape to still be able to try to appreciate the next day opportunity for you, you know, try given a chance for the change. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, most definitely.
So, an attitude. And it's a part of the thing that you've obviously described from the early stages, that bit of an attitude wasn't your favor, or in your favor, I should say.
Yeah.
Where now your attitude is, you know, I have a goal, I'm going after it.
Yeah.
So if you could somehow describe your thought process, you know, because back those days you were thinking about different things. Now your mentality and your thoughts are about something completely different. And then it links to your emotions. At that stage you were just reacting probably. Now you know how to enjoy more and be more present. So how did the thought process changed over the years?
I think it just came with maturity. When I was a kid, I was just emotional. Like, you know, I didn't really all I cared about was just really just having fun. And if I wasn't having fun, no matter what the situation was, I would just have like a mental breakdown, just, start whining and stuff. But now I'm a professional, and honestly, when you're a small basketball player and you start to grow, you start to realize you're replaceable. Like, at my position, my size, I'm undersized. As good as I am, as well as I can shoot the ball, because I feel like I'm one of the best shooters in the world, I'm replaceable. That's just the bottom line. Like, I'm 5'8", and pretty much my matchup every night is 6'3", 6'2", sometimes 6'4", 6'5". So I'm replaceable. So they're gonna write me off faster because I'm small. People are gonna look for a reason to. So I realized I had to be professional. Even if I don't agree, just say okay and just try to do what they're asking, so.
Yeah. Wow. You know what? It just like, that was, powerful.
Yeah.
I can easily say that, but having that awareness that we are all replaceable.
Yes.
I think allows you to give that extra commitment, let's just say, to the next task you take on.
Yeah.
And as you said, maturity is clearly important because, I'm pretty sure you can observe a lot of youngsters that can have a talent because they just focused on messing up and, messing around and just kicking off and whatever. They easily get that mental breakdown you mentioned.
Yeah.
There's no control in their sort of, let's just try. Okay, there's a problem. Let's move on. Let's do something about it. They just fall into that.
Yeah.
But again, wow. I'm way impressed. That was amazing what you just said. So I've mentioned about your practice routine.
Yeah.
What other routines you have, either pre-game or post-game or anything, like daily routine that can also be quite inspirational? Because I'll tell you what, that routine you have during the practice, amazing thing. Because when you explained that to me for the first time, I went back to my office and I was just in a rush doing something and I went like, hold on, you've done majority of it. You've repeated the task a few times.
Yeah.
Now the last two.
Yeah.
And I just remembered, I took it on. So what other routines or habits that you have that help you to sort of be who you are?
Yeah, I'm very routine. I'm like a perfectionist. Like, my room is clean, cleaner than most people I don't know if you ever seen, like, my locker is always going to be clean. So I'm just a routine person. Pretty much, just to start with practice again, I always like to show up like at least 90 minutes before practice. But obviously with our gym situation, some people may be using the gym before us. But I'm like a 90 minutes before practice and 30 minutes after type of guy. I like to make sure I get weights in for the week, sauna 2 days before the game, and then nutrition for sure. I kind of stay off like, the beef and stuff like that, pork. I kind of just eat salmon or chicken. Kind of stay off the dairy, stuff like that. Let's just go into a particular game day. I take my shoot around serious. I'm always like, I overthink a lot. I'm always focused. You know what I'm saying? Like, I overfocus. I overthink. Sometimes people may think something's wrong with me because I'm just so locked in. But that's just what it takes for me to be good. Like, that's all I know. Because when I get too loose, like if I goof around before a game, I just feel like I'm too loose and I'm not locked in. So I think I got that from my high school coach because we had a rule like before the game, if you play for this guy named Patrick Roy, you don't laugh on the bus before the game. Like, wow. That's kind of where I got that from. Okay. If you're from LA and you play for a guy named Patrick Roy, Inglewood High School, you don't laugh on the bus before the game. You only want to see your teeth. So I kind of just be like, I kind of never really let go of that mentality. Okay. So I'm kind of locked in on game day. It's important what time I eat before the game, because if you eat too close to the game, you'll feel heavy. If you eat too early, you feel like your energy isn't up to par. So that's the main thing. And that's pretty much it. After that, I'll be pretty much good to go once the tip-off starts, if I just eat at the right time. And yeah.
I like the part of not laughing in the bus.
Yeah,
which is slightly different in our bus when we travel.
Yeah, no, I'm not used to that. Yeah.
But just wanted to go back to that routine part that you said. Basically, you're a very routine person. Does it help you stay sort of ready, or are there situations where it has some kind of a affection that, you know, if you miss something because of certain situation, you know, we can plan carefully, we can have those kind of, you know, set standards or whatever, and then one situation can just mess everything up. When something is messed up within your routine, are you frustrated, or are you just like, okay, that's fine, move on?
It depends on what the circumstances are. So yeah, I like to just stick with the same routine every time. I want to be sharp with everything. But it's kind of like one of those things where, like I said, you got to try to be perfect, knowing you're never going to be perfect. So yeah, I like to keep the same routine, form shooting, touch shots, getting ready for the game. But it don't really fully throw me off. It'll throw me off if I have a bad game and I'm like, well, damn, my routine was a little off today.
Okay.
So, but I just try to stick to it though.
But it does simplify, isn't it? The process, because then you know you sort of, I wouldn't say it's a tick box because you're not listing it, but obviously just, you know, practicing it so many times, you know, through your life, it sort of goes as something natural. But it definitely simplifies the whole preparation for anything you have, and then allows you to focus. But speaking about focus, you said sometimes you over-focus and overthink. And, you know, guilty in this crime, because I've asked you a few times, well, once I think, what's going on, because I saw you so serious about it, and you're like, no, I'm just focused. But being overly focused or overthinking certain things, how does that impact you?
It kind of impacts me a lot, because, you know, being over here, especially because like the amount of time I have on my hands, like I'm sacrificing being over here for 10 months in Europe, pretty much for a season. Pretty much I dedicate about 3 to 4 hours to basketball, and after that I'm free. So after that I'm free. Let's say I watch a show or two. All I have time to do really is just to think, you know, and sometimes it kind of get the best of you. You start to think about your life 5 to 10 years from now. You start to think about where you thought you would be at this certain age. You know what I'm saying? You're thankful for what you have, but it's a thin line of like being thankful and wanting more.
Yes.
So those are type of things that I kind of like deal with as like a player and a person. You think about things with your family that you can't always save them from. So those are things that I think about all the time. But I'm trying to get better at it. Whenever I feel like talking, I just call. Like I have very few friends, and I have a lot of family that I talk to, and I just call them. We talk about life and stuff while I'm over here. That helps a lot. So shout out to those people that I could call and talk to, like about life and stuff. You know, how I've been, what they've been up to, something I missed that's going on in the States. Ask them how it was and stuff like that. So that those calls be helpful. Like just talking to people from home.
Brilliant. Well, you know, it's something opposite for a lot of people, because a lot of people say they don't have enough time. And being a professional athlete, sometimes you have too much time. And as you literally just described, like this is what happens, you know. And a lot of athletes I spoke to before, or I had the opportunity to work with, they always said the best time is the moment when you don't have a time to think, because then you don't have that slightly stupid chit chat, because it just can chat about anything and nothing really. And that is the moment when they get most bothered, because, you know, we have our own routine before, like evening before the game, we do, you know, visualize, and then the last game we did breathing and things like this. But again, you go back to the room and there's that time.
Yeah.
You know, after the dinner, you still have the time until you go to sleep, and then you wake up, and it just depends on circumstances. Wow, yeah. See, this show just shows how strangely simple things can literally overtake the whole, thinking process and your time.
Yeah.
So apart of making those calls, is there any other way you deal with those kind of situations?
No, not really. I would just say, besides just like talking to like my sister or my brothers, or I got like 2 or 3 friends that I call and talk to all the time. Besides that, I mean, that's just kind of how I deal with it. Just like if I'm overthinking something, I just want to talk about just life and stuff. Besides that, no, not really. I kind of just, maybe the sauna when I get in the sauna, but
yeah, that also can be mentally challenging because again, there's a heat. There are different factors. You still have the time because you sat in the piece or you're lying or whatever. But I think it's just to understand that you're not going to win the fight and stop fighting. Just, go in, okay, whatever. Just keep pushing. I have my dream, and just sort of, I always said this, the chit chatter is trying to diversify your focus and just bring yourself back. Okay, I'm here now, what I can do to be there or do whatever. Or if it's something negative, just go, okay, well, maybe that's a sign to not lose the focus of what I'm doing, to not go to where the chit chatter, let's just say, says.
Yeah.
You had quite a nice career so far.
Yes.
And for the past 3 years, you've been now in Europe.
Yeah, this is my 3rd year now.
Yeah, and you're in Lańcut now. We're in Germany, France, and Turkey.
Yep.
How do you find yourself, again, being away from home? Do you think in the last 3 years you grew mentally and physically as an athlete and as a human being?
Yeah, most definitely, yeah.
Yeah?
I would say I grew as like a man because, when you over here across the water and you kind of see some of the stuff that goes on in the States, I feel like you guys got more control over here in Europe as far as like what the people do and what you can and cannot do. I feel like you guys are very strict on a lot of things, where as in the U.S., things are a little bit loose and you can see what's going on. So I do feel a lot more safer when I'm in Europe because I feel like there's more control. And I basically kind of I like the structure of just knowing I could be okay, you know what I'm saying, for the most part. Things happen everywhere. And then also too, I just use the free time I have to just educate myself on a lot of things that I was misinformed about. Because especially in the community I grew up in, we so misinformed about a lot of things. So I used my free time not to just scroll on Instagram all the time and digest like negative stuff. I try to become informed on things that's going on around the world, and I kind of got better knowledge about that now. And just as a player, I'm a grown man now. I'm not in college no more. That was like 3 years ago. I can't call home and complain about everything that's going on. I gotta deal with it. So I just deal with it, and I gotta just figure it out. So I think I'll definitely mature, but I've always been mature because when I was 16, I was like 19. When I was 19, I was like 20, 23, 24. Now I'm 26. Most of my friends are like 30, 31.
Yeah.
So my mentally, I kind of always been like advanced as far as like my way of thinking. So I tell you, I overthink everything. So I'm already thinking about the way my life would be at 35. So.
Well, I'm past that. I'm 38.
Yeah.
Your birthday is day before mine.
Yeah,
so,
just past the 5th, yeah.
And again, it's just funny the way you meet people that you enjoy the character, the way they are.
Yeah.
And then you realize, it's only day day away from the birthday you have. And
Yeah.
it's quite similar timing and things like this. But you said quite a few times about the structure and you know, just and again you touched the education part that you sort of more grown. So going back to that, safety is something that I took out of the moment you said about the Europe, that it's more structured and things like this. But quite often you stepping out of your comfort zone. During the game, I can quite often see, you know, you're sort of going through, you're trying, and then all of a sudden you're sort of converting it because you keep wanting to keep going.
Yeah.
And you're not completely wanting to be safe there.
Yeah.
Is the basketball like a place where you can unleash, let's just say, yourself, where you can get to when you can get the things done that you feel free because of the skill you have, of the mentality? What's it like?
So basketball is definitely an escape, but when you over here by yourself, it could drive you crazy. You know, like the situations and stuff like that I've been in the past 3 years, it could drive you crazy. Like literally, if you don't really just calm yourself down, especially me, like I said, I overthink everything. So, you know, but yeah, you know, basketball, I first started playing basketball even before like it was like a job where I make money for it. I was playing because I enjoyed to play. You know, I always tell myself, like, don't forget that you supposed to enjoy playing basketball. So sometimes we kind of lose sight of that when we're trying to chase the next best job and the next best opportunity. And we forget, like, okay, I'm playing basketball for a living in Europe. And so, like I said, it's a thin line between being thankful and not being complacent. So,
yes.
So I always try to remember that. So that's kind of like where I'm at with it.
But easily we can add to this, you love basketball.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I could talk basketball. I could talk basketball with you. A lot of things, like at a very, very high level, I could talk basketball, any level of basketball, you know, so that's pretty much, you know, I talk basketball with a lot of my friends. We in a group chat, we have debates, we disagree on things. We got a group, I got a group chat with all, like, you know, my older brothers, and we disagree on a bunch of things. I kind of get into heated arguments with my actual blood brother sometimes about basketball stuff. It gets serious. But, you know, it's all right. Yeah.
Well, let me just go back to you saying about the thin line, right?
Yeah.
It's difficult sometimes, as you said, to be appreciative of something.
Yeah.
And that same thing hurts you when you lose or when you have a bad game or anything like that. Is there a way that you go back to that appreciation no matter what, even the moment you sort of get hurt, if that makes sense?
Yeah.
And you sort of fall in love back with the game? Is there any way that you've managed to do that through years?
Honestly, it's tough because basketball is my job, and everybody who has a job has to answer to somebody, usually, you know what I'm saying? So, so yeah, I definitely try to just be like, you know, don't forget that you're playing basketball, enjoy it, you know, but you also have to please your boss. So you know who my boss is.
Yes.
So if I can, you know, make him happy by winning games and stuff like that, then I can kind of, you know, it'll ease off a little pressure or whatever, but it's tough. It's easy. It's easier said than done because everybody in sports go through the same thing. Yeah. So it's not an easy job. I mean, but you know, I'll take this over.
Well, how many times I remember as a wrestler, you know, having a bad competition or a bad fight.
Yeah.
I was up and going, I quit, you know, inside my head, you know, I quit. I don't want to go through this anymore, you know.
Yeah, no.
But then I was like, what the heck I was talking about, you know.
You get like that.
It was like, stop talking that crap and just move on. Stop being miserable about it. But not everyone is able to, you know, convert that thought process. And this is something very unique to not so many, let's just say. Not many people can do that. Now, point guard.
Yeah.
Describe, if I could ask you to describe Tigo as a point guard with 3, let's say, characteristics more mentally than physically.
More mentally than physically, I would say more mentally than aggressive.
Obviously, we get the idea of what kind of aggressiveness it means.
Yeah, aggressive. I would say thinker, and I would say organizer.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of.
I like that.
I would you know say, because you know.
Would you describe with very similar characters the actual best point guard you can ever sort of think of?
Wait, ask the question again.
So if you think about one of the best point guards in your sort of list, would you describe him with the similar characters?
Yeah, I would say so. It would be probably aggressive, a genius. I don't think I'm a genius yet, but it like when you talk about the greatest point guards, it'd be like aggressive, genius, and like you know, like crafty or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you said, well, I'm not, you know, your words, I'm not genius. So what's within the gap between where you see yourself and that genius?
Well,
what's between?
It's like in the heat of the moment when you got to make certain reads in the game. You can do them, but it's like I talk about slowing your mind down when you're fatigued. You could do it, and you know, I could watch film and know what I did wrong before the coach even tell me what I did wrong. But the reason I did it wrong was probably because I was a little tired.
And can I just add something to this?
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, it just like literally came up to my mind when you just said that. Would you agree that also when the fatigue kicks in and you're starting to read the game, that also, you know, overthinking kicks in?
Yeah.
So the difference between where you see yourself and that genius will just risk it and sometimes kicks in the overthinking.
Exactly. So that's my thing, you know. So
I love the honesty. You know, so far we've covered majority of it and even more. 2 more questions.
No, sure.
When I started my journey as a mind coach, I did self-analysis. So I analyzed myself and I saw that I'm quite keen to take action, you know, and happy and, you know, excited and getting excited very quickly. But then I never finished. I never completed a task as a coach, right? There was things I wanted to do, the first sign of issue, challenge, or whatever you want to name it.
Yeah.
And when I did self-analysis, I realized that I was lacking persistence.
Yeah.
So how important is persistence? And how important is to be persistent in your life?
Man, I try to finish everything I start. I don't like to make promises I don't keep. So literally everything I tell myself I want to do, I try to finish it. So if I told myself I wanted to do this, I'm gonna try to do it. Like I don't like to switch up, you know, certain things. And that, you know, especially in this generation, a lot of people switch up certain things that they want to do because society kind of sold them a dream that if you do this, you'll be okay. And that ain't the case anymore. So, but for me, I think long and hard about things that I want to do, and then I just go after it. And then if I come up short, you know, I just kind of just try again. It's all trial and error, especially with basketball. So I failed before, and actually a few times, and So I just keep trying. But so far in basketball, I've completed a lot of things. I just never forget that. But I just want so much more. It just drives me crazy sometimes. But, you know.
Well, that's ambition, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because if you didn't have it, this is my personal view on this. Mm-hmm. If you're not ambitious, well, not overly ambitious, if you know what I mean, but if you're not ambitious, you're not pro, really.
Yeah.
Because that pro guy is hungry for more,
yeah.
Appreciative of what you have,
yeah,
but still wants more.
Yeah.
It's like you give him what he wants to eat, drink, or do, but that guy will have it and go, I want more.
Yeah. So,
speaking about that, is it okay to ask what's your goal? What's your next big goal? Do you have anything like that? If you had no limitations in choosing whatever you want, what would have been the next big goal for you?
The next big goal for me is, I would say, is just to play at a high level. You know, good competition, and just probably win another championship. But I'm gonna be honest, like with all honesty, everybody is different. You got some guys who want to play over here overseas to play at the highest level, and the money doesn't matter. You got some guys who want to make the money. You got guys after different things. Me personally, I want to be able to play, you know, at minimum 10 years and have something to show for it. Yeah. So obviously I want to win. Like, I hate losing, but I want to be able to take care of myself. You know, so that's first and foremost for me. Just being able to take care of myself. But if I'm just having fun, like, you know, living in a nice city, playing basketball, that's good enough for me. So.
Where do you see yourself after basketball?
So after basketball, I'm kind of setting that up right now as we speak. Every day, I'm just planning for the future. But after basketball, I see myself being a homeowner, outright, no loans, just completely paid off. All I have to do is pay like property taxes and insurance. Yeah. Help my parents through retirement, and also I would say my first year out, just trying to figure out what I want to do, because this is very hard. You know, you play basketball your whole life, and you literally going into the real world with no work experience. That's so hard to do. But I really don't know yet. But you know, time will tell. But definitely, I expect myself to have a property fully paid off. Yeah. No mortgage payments, just outright. So I know that at the end of the day, if all fails, I have a place to stay. Yeah. If all fails, my parents' home is still there, paid off by me for my brother, my sisters, and for everyone to go back there if they ever need it, to get back on their feet if they ever need to. And you know, that's kind of.
Well, from the bottom of my heart, I wish you that you know, everything you have ahead. Yeah. And presently, that's the main thing at the moment. You know, we're both chasing after the same goal, really. Yeah. But anything beyond that or above that or anything in the future, you know, I'm 100% sure with your mentality, your strength, your inner strength, you're gonna go and get it after. And I'm not surprised of what you said, because quite a few years ago, a gold medalist in Olympics in swimming, I used to work with her, and she said to me that 300 out of 365 days in a year she was away. So the moment she retired, she woke up next day and she sat at the table in the kitchen, and then she went, "Where's my food?" Yeah. And then the postman brought like a bill for electricity or something, and she rang her mom like with tears in her eyes, going, "Mom, what do I do with that?" You know, and not being able to sort of do those kind of simple things like for everybody else. But I love your goal, and I know and I do trust you're gonna get after it, and even more. And that ambition you have isn't gonna go away post basketball, but I'm sure you'll stay with the sports.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm really into fitness. So yeah, I love basketball, but I love to lift. I love to.
I can't see.
I love to exercise. So that'll never leave me. Like it's just a habit. College teach you that. You know, it's just a habit that when you get to college, they put you on in weights and it just become who you are. But I would just say that, and I like to do things that kind of just you can't pay for, like being able to, for example, like the Super Bowl was yesterday. I'm not really crazy about football like everybody else, but just to have like just my friends around, like, you know, a couple friends around and just to be with them, that's priceless, you know? So people often say like what success is to you. So for me, like it's different. A lot of people will say like a lot of material things, like let's just say, for example, I want to have the freedom to, let's say if I had a kid, to take my daughter to school every day and to pick her up. Like that would, to me, that like after I work out in the morning and be able to take my daughter to school and then pick her up in the afternoon, that's what success is to me. I'm not, I can't do it because I got to be at work. And that's the type of freedom I want in my life. I can go to yoga, I can pick up my kids from school, drop them off, go to their games. You know, a lot of people want material things, but to me, that's what like happiness would be.
Well, you just sort of described the success, and as you said, everyone has a different definition, and no one should be able to judge you by your choice, you know, of what the success means. Probably about 10 years ago, I heard one of the best descriptions, again, at that stage, and I think a part of me does agree to that. Obviously, I have a bit of a different description of a success, but a guy I met in Ireland, he said, you know, what's one of the best things and you can call it success? I was like, what's that? He goes, if you travel anywhere in the world and you have a roof under which you can sleep, so you have a friend.
Exactly.
Somewhere in the world. And that friend will open the door and allow you in, get you bed, you can have a night's sleep or more, and then you can travel again.
Exactly.
And that is being both successful and rich.
That's what I'm trying to build right now with my family, is like this ecosystem. Like my dream is to have like I have a sister in Houston, and I got a cousin in Florida, and my brother's moving to Atlanta. And I want them to all be homeowners, and we're kind of spread out. You know, me and my other brother probably be in LA. I kind of want to be between LA and Houston, and we kind of have those areas where we can kind of just visit each other, you know, and do things like that.
Tigo, our journey isn't finished yet.
Yeah.
We still have a few things to do and to prove that we are capable of doing it. But my doors are always open for you.
Appreciate it.
Listen, from the day one we met,
I
was like, okay, well, he's screwed because now we're friends. That's it.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Appreciate you. Appreciate the time. And I know it's been tough few weeks as well for us with the club. But, you know, I love the professionalism you have. And, you know, the moment I asked you for joining me in the podcast, joining the viewers, I'm pretty sure they're going to love it. Beautiful, you know, stories and insights, and I could not ask for anything more. So appreciate you, Tigo. Let's do this. Appreciate it, man.
All right, man. Thank you.
Thank you.